Mick Danzig.
And I'm Hannah Hampton.
And this is not an HR podcast.
Well, hello and welcome to This Is Not an HR Podcast, Halloween Spooktacular. This is the only podcast to take off their HR hats and encourage you to have fun acting ghoulishly stupid. Oh my gosh, Hannah Hampton, I cannot believe you actually laughed at that.
Well, I think it was a pity laugh just to make you feel better.
All right, I'll take the pity laugh there. I think that's okay.
We're recording at a different time, so I feel like afternoon or evening Hannah might be a little different than morning Hannah, so we're going to find out.
I have so many inappropriate questions to that, and we're just going to move right on.
Oh, this is exactly how I expected you to respond.
Hey, Hannah.
Mm-hmm.
When do zombies finish trick-or-treating?
When
they are dead tired. Ha! Happy Halloween.
Oh,
all right. Speaking of Halloween.
Done.
You and I talk often on the podcast about how much we both love Halloween. There's so many different things about Halloween that we like. And one of the things, though, that I'm starting to lose touch with is the nostalgia of Halloween. I'm more into this selfish adult, scary movie kind of Halloween. I'm telling you, Apple is just trying to suck the rest of the nostalgia out of me. I just found out that this is the first year that I'm aware of. This is the first year that It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown will not be on television, broadcast television. Boo! Oh my gosh, Apple, what are you doing to us? So, of course, Apple commandeered the Charlie Brown properties last year, and they responded to the public outcry over the holiday specials. You know, they did the co-branding with NPR. This year, they're not doing it. So they're doing what they did last year as far as you're able to watch it free on Apple television on this limited window of dates. October 28th through the 31st, you can stream it for free. But, I mean, I just think of grandma sitting in the retirement home with her old antenna television, asking me to come over and show her how to download the Apple TV app, and then her just being so upset about this that I just want to thank Apple in advance for just taking that last piece of nostalgia away from Halloween. Hannah, am I overreacting?
I'm going to say no, because I feel like people love nostalgia, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with expecting broadcast television to continue to do those things that they've done every year. And I can't, it's so crazy to me because I feel like that would be a ratings booster, because people want to feel that nostalgia because it feels good. It gives you that warm feeling. A lot of times people look back on things with, your rose-colored glasses. So people always want that warm and cozy feeling of nostalgia that something like that show would bring. So I don't think you're overreacting. I will allow it.
Thank you, Hannah Hampton. Apple definitely has committed a Halloween crime that's going to carry on the rest of the year. So trying to move on and get over it, you and I both decided to look at two brand new Halloween specials. I'm going to talk about mine just for a second because yours is really the one that we want to deep dive on. This is my pleasant surprise of the year. Okay. You and I are also comic book people. I'm DC, you're a little more Marvel, but my goodness, what a heck of a pleasant surprise on Disney Plus of all places. I cannot believe that I'm saying Disney, you did it right when Apple did not. But Disney, Marvel's Werewolf by Night.
Yeah.
What a fantastic Halloween special. I thought it was going to be another one of their 6 to 8 episode mini series. And I was like, I want to watch it, but when do I want to start it? And then when I found out it was a 55-minute standalone, I was like, oh my God. And it was just fantastic because you know what it is? When you and I watch some of our Svengoolies and our Sammy Terrys, and they go back and they do the old retro shows, we remember them being those shows, the movies themselves, like The Blob and Frankenstein.
I watched Frankenstein this year, but go on. I'm sorry.
But they don't stand up quite as well as we remember them, because we still want them to have that a little bit more modern kitsch to them and inside jokes and the acting to be, and that's everything Werewolf by Night is. And that's, I stand by it. I love it. I highly recommend it. And I've talked too much, so let's let you talk about what you just watched before we talk about your new Halloween special.
Yeah, no, I also watched Werewolf by Night, and I thought it was super fun. I've been kind of going back to some classics this year. Now, only because somebody I work with threw a challenge to some people, people at the company, to rewatch some classics, horror movies for discussion. So I watched Frankenstein. I watched this movie out of the Soviet Union. It is the first horror movie out of the Soviet Union, called VIY, and I thought was really fantastic. And then I also recently watched Dario Argento's Inferno. That was good, but it's not something I'd ever watch again. I'd never seen it before, so I'm not really into Italian horror too much. I've been having a good time watching some classics, and again, feeling that feeling of nostalgia. These were all before crazy CGI, so it's usually more practical effects and retro designs, because V definitely had a very mid-century. It was made in 1967. It had a mid-century feel when it came to the costumes and makeup and effects. And then same with Inferno, it was from 1980. So you got that late 70s, early 80s feel to it. So I've been having a lot of fun. And to continue on the retro vibe, you and I both watched Rob Zombie's The Munsters, which, let me tell you this. As a kid, I was a child. I'm a young Xer. So as a kid, I remember coming home from school, and The Munsters would be on, I think it was TBS. It was on a television channel, and my dad and I would watch it after school. So I loved The Munsters. You and I both love Rob Zombie. And so the fact that Rob Zombie was making this movie, you knew we would both have to watch it. Now, I have to tell you, I watched the trailer and I was like, oh boy. I wasn't quite sure what we were getting into. So I'm not going to lie, I went into it with somewhat low expectations. I say somewhat because I love Rob Zombie. I think his movies are fun. I really enjoy his music. I think he's a really rad dude. Like, I am a fan. And I have to say, I enjoyed the movie. He really captured the corniness of what you expect from the Munsters, like the puns, the cheesy dialogue. And I just loved his choices, and I thought it was a lot of fun. Now, before, well, you know what? I want to get your thoughts before I tell you like where I felt it fell flat. But what were your thoughts on The Munsters?
I was a little nervous with the trailer. Mm-hmm. And it was really, for me, it was about the use of color, what I saw very briefly in the cinematography in the trailer. Mm-hmm. I was anxious and nervous at the same time. It could have been super cheap looking and too campy, which in retrospect, it's hard to say that the Munsters could be too campy, but I was nervous. I was very nervous, and I actually put off watching it. If you recall, I told you for about a week, I'm going to watch it tonight or tomorrow night. And I finally watched it. And at the very beginning, I felt maybe my biggest fears were about to take place. I really thought it was going to dinkaroony.
Yeah, I didn't love the very beginning either, but go on.
But it wasn't that anything was wrong with it. It was just the concerns I had pictured were coming to life, just the visuals. And then the movie just grows on you. All I could think of, and you and I are big Rob Zombie fans, and we've seen him in concert together, and we're also Glenn Danzig fans, and we love the Misfits. I watched that more recent Glenn Danzig movies, Veronica, last year for Halloween, and it was just a terribly chaotic shit show. I've never wanted to watch and enjoy something so much and like something and just hate it like I did with Erotica, where the monsters, oh my gosh, it just kept growing on me and growing on me. And the visuals, and I couldn't place it at first. And then I got it. I really think Rob Zombie built upon some Burton-esque cinematography and did it his own way. Because at first it looks almost straight to video because I'm assuming it's digital. But then all of a sudden I'm like, I think Tim Burton would put his stamp of approval on this if he had this technology back then, especially. So I got into it because it did start to have more of a campy zombie meets Tim Burton vibe. And I really enjoyed it. And honestly, I think this film, and if you and I are still talking to each other in 5 years, because I know we drive each other crazy, I think this movie is going to escalate to cult status and become the next Nightmare Before Christmas. This is going to...
That's a bold statement.
I know.
That is quite the bold statement. I agree that I think it will build. I think that there'll be word of mouth. People will be like, oh, I like that. Or they'll rewatch it. And I think be more welcomed than it was because it's crazy. Because, of course, you have the Rob Zombie lovers who are like, oh, we'll check it out, kind of like us. And then those who would be like, oh, he's going to ruin it by making it bloody and gross and really, really like gory. And then he even posted, Rob Zombie himself posted a meme. It was like people complaining about it, saying, oh, Rob Zombie's going to ruin it with gore. And then saying, oh, it wasn't a Rob Zombie movie. It was campy, just like the original. And they're mad. It's like, you're always going to, on the internet, you're always going to piss people off one way or another. But I think there's going to be that subset of people who are going to be very happy with it. They are going to look at it with nostalgia. They're going to say he did the TV show justice, which the TV show was only around for 2 seasons and it was corny as hell if you watched it. I'd say he did a good job of paying homage to it and showing that he loved the show and he wanted to do something to show that he loved it by bringing the characters to life in his universe with his kind of vision. And I thought it was super duper fun. And, specifically, I thought that I thought he was fantastic. And then Grandpa, or the Count, I guess it was the Count instead of Grandpa. But yeah. I loved those 2 specific cast choices, and I thought they nailed it. So it was super fun. I definitely would watch again. My only complaints, and you alluded to this earlier, the beginning was a little like, and then I felt like the ending was a little abrupt, and I'm like, oh, okay, so that's how they ended. But I feel like it was probably, I can imagine Rob Zombie knew what he wanted to do, visuals, and where he wanted to have fun with it. But it's just starting the story and ending the story were a bit of a struggle. And it is what it is, but it was a lot of fun in the middle when it counts. So that's the way I look at it.
I agree. And the thing is, Rob Zombie has had kind of some abrupt endings to even his better films that you're kind of like, I went back and watched what you and I call the RZ trilogy. Mm-hmm. And because I do Mick's Halloween Challenge, where Mick's Challenge is every October, starting October 1st, I watch, whether it's a Halloween special, a Halloween film, or it could just be a Halloween episode of like a Family Guy or Simpsons or whatever. But I watch something Halloween every night. And yeah. I feel very bad for my wife because she does not enjoy Halloween. So, and she doesn't like real scary movies. Sometimes I'm staying up later than I want because, I'm pouring her that extra glass of wine so she'll go to sleep. And so I can start my show at 9 or whatever. I went back and watched the trilogy, House of 1,000 Corpses, Devil's Rejects, and oh my God, I just forgot the name of the third one.
Is it like 3 by Hell or something?
3 from Hell. And
3 from Hell.
And we'll so edit that.
So you watched 3 from Hell.
I watched them in order. I watched House the first night, Devil's Rejects the second, and 3 from Hell the third. House of 1,000 Corpses, which Rob Zombie has in the last few years said that he felt like it was kind of a disaster. And he means technically, and all directors go back and kind of trash their stuff, but I wish he wouldn't. The only thing that I really think that film kind of falls short on, because it has the opening is amazing, is it does the end kind of just is like bam, you're like in sensory overload, and the end of A House of a Thousand Corpses feels kind of rushed. I think that's something that Zombie has done, and I can think of things he's done before. But before we move on to the next subject, because we're trying to pack a lot into this Halloween spooktacular, tell me your either favorite or your top 2 or 3 favorite Rob Zombie horror films.
You're gonna be surprised when I tell you. My second most favorite is Halloween 2. I just really enjoyed that. I can't tell you why.
Ages well.
Yeah,
I
Halloween
love
2.
liberties he took on the end of that, where the first time I saw it, I was kind of like, what?
I liked that. And then House of a Thousand Corpses. I love Dr. Satan scares the shit out of me.
Yes.
Like legitimately like nightmare inducing scare. Like that movie scares the shit out of me. The Devil's Rejects was fantastic. Like I loved that one too, but House of a Thousand Corpses, every time I watch it, I'm like it's one of those things that I feel it's scary every time I watch it. And it's almost a 20-year-old movie, which I can't believe it. Next year it'll be 20 years, but holy crap, it's just one of those things that Dr. Satan, if I encountered Dr. Satan on the street or, whatever, I mean, I feel like I'd be like, okay, that's the end of me, because it's so scary.
No, it's excellent. And it is, because that's what gives it that 70s throwback vibe. It's scary. I think it's scarier than Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which I find extremely
Terrifying.
frightening,
Yeah,
terrifying.
Yeah. So and it's just one of those things, like, to me, so I'm somebody who I grew up in somewhat of a smaller community, but I lived in a very large city for a long time. And, I remember talking to people, back home, and they're like, doesn't it scare you living in the city? I'm like, no. Being out in the country to me is far scarier than being in a city, always. And I think that House of a Thousand Corpses just helps, make that even worse for me. Like I just feel like there's like I just feel like out in the middle of nowhere is where I'll like there's definitely crazy people living in crazy houses in the middle of nowhere. They're not getting caught because they are in such a rural, like in the middle of nowhere place. And I think that it's too quiet in the country. City life for this gal.
What's funny about that is what's even scarier. My wife and I used to go to Palm Springs quite a bit, and you drive through Orange County. Further you go east into the Inland Empire, it just turns into it's desert, and that's all it is. And when you're driving, you go through this area of Cabazon, and then you're heading down, and they've got those scary ass windmills for solar energy and just nothing but desert and rock. And then every like 5 miles or so, you'll see this random, just this beat down shack. And my wife and I used to play the game. Do you think they've got a woman in a pit there?
And I would say yes to every single one of them.
But when we drive, and it would, and you'd be like, probably. You go through all these scary houses, and then the windmill farms just scared the hell out of my wife. They visually just freaked her out. I think we need to go there and stay at like the most beat down motel in that area for Halloween one year. But my God, those.
So you could torture your wife because you were just saying she hates Halloween, she hates scary stuff. So let's take her to a scary ass hotel.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm amazed I'm still married. So, hey, Hannah. Why should an angry witch take her broom trick-or-treating?
God, why?
She might fly off the handle.
Oh, Lord.
So I want to give our listeners just a break from us talking movies. When I was younger, for some reason, I loved it when, you go into fall and then next is winter, and then all of a sudden all the lists come out, the best of the year of this and the best of the year of that. So I've always liked lists. I checked out USA Today, and I wanted to know, what are the top 10 Halloween costumes in 2022?
Oh, no.
Yeah, honestly, this is going to be quick because these are pretty boring.
Okay, can I guess what one of them's going to be?
Yes.
I'm going to guess, and I have not seen this list, I promise you.
And this is probably going to be the only one we're really going to talk about if you get it right, so go ahead.
I think it's going to be Eddie from Stranger Things. But go on.
So that is on the list, but I'll tell you what they did. So we'll get to that one. That's for that list. So we'll start with number 10. There's only a couple characters on here, and the rest are your typical Halloween fare. But number 10, and this is the one I thought you were going to guess, is Harley Quinn. Because I do love the Harley Quinn character, and I think
there was nothing new from her, so that's why I wouldn't have guessed it. Like it's
right,
yeah, it's like obviously.
But I thought you would come up with it because it's like still the most recent slutty costume because they've just slutted up so bad.
Yeah,
so I think that's why it's still around. But Harley Quinn is the number 10. Number 9 is Cowboy, which I kind of find surprising. Number 8 is Cheerleader. Where I think that makes the list because if you're a lazy parent, you give your kid their cheerleader's outfit, let them go out.
Yeah.
You also have the potential if you're a teen or college student, 20-something for your slutty cheerleader. And then as couples get older, every once in a while, you ask the wife if she wants to be a cheerleader.
Or the SNL cheerleader. So
yeah. So I think there's many reasons. Look at you intercepting my dirty references. All right, let's just go with the SNL cheerleader. Mm-hmm. Number 7's Rabbit, which I think's okay, sure. Number 6, Pirate. Okay.
Okay.
Number 5, Fairy.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, has it been that boring of a 2022? Number 4, they put Stranger Things under one umbrella. So,
well, I mean, I guess you can go with any of the character, but legitimately, like, let's get real. It's pretty easy to do Eddie. Yeah.
So the top 3 Halloween costumes of 2022. This is according to Google Trends Frightgeist in the USA Today of October 18th. Number 3, Dinosaur. Okay. You know what it is, though? There are a lot of dinosaur costumes out there because of all the funny stuff people were doing in 2020 with them during the pandemic.
Costumes. I have a Godzilla like blow up costume like that, and it's fun.
Those are fun. Those are very cool.
I love Godzilla, but anyways, go on.
Number 2, the only superhero, but he's been on a lot of different stuff, is Spider-Man.
Huh, okay.
Yeah, because you've got Into the Spider-Verse. Number 2 is coming out soon, the animated movie. We had the other one this year, blah, 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 Spider-Man. And then number 1, just to kind of end this with the thud, is Witch.
Oh, that's like so boring. I'm sorry, it's super boring.
Yeah, this is an extremely boring list. I don't quite get it. Hey, Hannah.
I don't either. Okay, whatever. I don't care.
Hey, Hannah. What is white, black, and dead all over?
I don't know what.
A zombie trick-or-treating in a tuxedo. I've got another quick list, but this quick list is really to transition into our next story because we just talked about how disappointed we were on the top 10 costume list. So let me tell you what the Brain Trust at People came up with for 10 things to do on Halloween when it's no longer socially acceptable for you to trick or treat. Okay. I honestly think that people put more effort into that title than their list.
Agreed. And you know what? I'd still trick or treat to this day if it wasn't creepy as being a grown woman. But I am rather short, so maybe I could, if I cover my face, I could pull it off.
You absolutely could pull it off. And you could do what I do. I take my dog trick-or-treating. So there.
See, that's good.
So, my kids are grown, so now I take the dog, so it's still acceptable. So let's get back to the Rhodes Scholars at People and their 10 things to do on Halloween when it's no longer socially acceptable for you to trick-or-treat. Okay. These are in no particular order. They all suck equally. So... Number 10, watch a scary movie.
Oh, that's groundbreaking.
Wow, people.
Who would have thought of that?
Man.
Great. I'm writing that down. Slow down. Let me write this down.
Would you? I can't believe magazines are almost dead. Number 9, binge watch a season of American Horror Story.
Wait. Can you insert like the sound of crickets?
Exactly. Number 8, carve pumpkins.
What? Again, another groundbreaking idea. Thank you for the suggestion, People Magazine.
Thank you, people. Yes, man, what a scary group. They're so cutting edge. The next one, I'm not even giving them numbers anymore. The next one is go bobbing for apples. Then we have hit up a hayride.
Wait, I want to go back to the bobbing apples. Because, like, yes, right after a pandemic and now, like, monkeypox, I want to stick my face where a bunch of people have other people put their faces. And yeah, great idea. Go on.
I know. Hey, people, you're on fire. Next one, hit up a hayride. How do you hit up a hayride? Do you just catch one that's in play? Hey, yo, I'm going to hit you.
What up, hayride?
What up, hayride?
Oh,
Looking a little strong out. All right. Next one. Oh, my God. These guys are setting the trends. Visit a haunted house.
What? During Halloween? I never would have thought of that. Oh, wow.
Let me hit that one again, Hannah.
Wow.
You know what you should do this on Halloween? Try something outside the box. Visit a haunted house.
No. Fine.
All right. Another thing they say you can do as an adult is head to a Halloween party, or if you're really fucking crazy, host one of your own.
No. What? A
Hold
Halloween
on.
party?
Is this on? Host one of your own. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I'm writing this down.
Okay. Next one.
Groundbreaking.
Oh, this is the best. Bake a candy cake.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Put an adult twist on Halloween candy with a candy-filled cake recipe. Not only is it tasty, but baking will also keep you occupied on Fright Night.
Get the fuck out of here, people.
Dude, the only thing I'm frightened about on this night that I'm having with People Magazine is how terrible my life would be.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to point out that that's the detail they go into. They don't give a candy cake recipe. Just throw some candy in your fucking.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Disaster.
Yeah. And here's another one. Hold on. Put yourself in a sugar coma, Anna Hampton.
That was the suggestion?
Yeah.
Who wrote that? I'm firing them. Taking the human out of human resources.
Here it is.
And I'm firing that motherfucker.
Here you go. Baking isn't your thing? Celebrate Halloween the same way you did post trick-or-treating by eating an obscene amount of candy. No one said you have to share with the trick-or-treaters. The last one, and this, I mean, again, you know, these guys are on fire. Diana Pearl, by the way, is the laureate here.
The Pulitzer.
The Pulitzer.
Give her the Pulitzer.
Let's give it all to her. No, I think this is so groundbreaking. It's the next step to world peace. She's a true American laureate. I want to put that she ended this great list with hand out candy.
Okay. So that's People Magazine. So I want to talk about how magazines just kind of fuck it up each year. So this made me think of In Touch Weekly back in 2018, okay? So in 2018, if you remember, there's a new Halloween movie. And they were talking about, you know, how they'll post like jokes that celebrities make. And Jimmy Fallon said this. Jimmy Fallon said, the new Halloween movie takes place 40 years after the original. Michael Myers is so old, he wears his mask on a beaded string around his neck. Okay, so that's the joke. But In Touch Weekly puts a picture of Jason Voorhees next to it.
Yes!
And I posted it to my Instagram, and I'm like, methinks everyone who works at In Touch Weekly has never watched a horror movie. Wrong movie, motherfucker. So I feel like if you work at a magazine, during the interview process, sorry, I know this is not an HR podcast, but during the interview process, they're like, do you like Halloween? And they say no, and they say, you're hired.
Or I think they just are like, do you have problems with rehashing the same material every year for 35 years?
Yeah, no, I'm good with that. Like,
then
nice.
you have a career with people. Just so you know, this list is so bad. There's a slight chance that in the next couple days, you may read a story about Diana Pearl being abducted, because I really want to hold accountable for this list, and we
Whoa.
may have to talk. Let's move on.
Mhm.
And so I'm going down a familiar route because we are going to talk about a movie, but it's going to also rectify this shit show of a list by people, because I have an idea. There is a 1977 Japanese horror film called House.
Okay.
It's since now referred to, because there are other horror films called House, an American one that actually I think that has a couple sequels. So this one is now referred to by the writer is in name, it's Obayashi. And what's really cool about this is a very experimental horror semi-comedy fairy tale.
Okay.
And the reason that it is so many different things, and this is what I think is the true story, but I'm going to talk a little bit about the movie. Obayashi collaborated with his 10-year-old daughter.
See, I haven't seen this movie, so this is all new to me. Okay, go on.
Obayashi grew up in Japan, and his life was fairly normal until just outside of where he lived is where the U.S. dropped one of their atomic bombs. And so everyone that grew up in that area, was very tragically changed. Those that survived, they suffered great loss. It always stuck with him, and you can see parts of that in his other films. He has a very different outlook than most people from what he's grown through. But this film was inspired and partly written by his daughter. And what he did was he utilized her nightmares, because Obayashi felt that children's nightmares and dreams were not yet corrupted or minimalized by adult life. So there's no need to explore the root cause or the influence of a child's dream like we do for adults. You don't need to dig in, because there's so many different things that a child's mind grabs a hold of and captures. And he really felt like getting her to share these scary dreams, and even these not so scary dreams, that they were like tapping into something very pure, something that hadn't been corrupted by the angst of adulthood. And of course, he has strong feelings about what he went off through. This film, I'm going to give a very quick synopsis. So the character, she's upset by the news that her widowed father has remarried while away scoring music for a film. The heroine of this film, Gorgeous, that's the character's name, asked her aunt to allow her and her 6 friends to visit during summer vacation. The opening is scenes in the high school, and everyone's so jazzed about summer break. And they used a lot of amateur actors in the film, and you can tell, but it works. Her aunt invites her and her 6 friends, and Gorgeous arrives at the estate where supernatural events occur almost immediately. A severed head just takes flight. Household appliances come to life, and even a portrait of a cat seems to contain an evil spirit. It's really trippy. It's like there are some of these scenes are animated. It almost has a Mary Poppins on acid kind of vibe. It's a psychedelic comedy horror experimental film that I feel makes Pink Floyd's The Wall look like an episode of Little House on the Prairie. But it's gory, it's scary, it's trippy, it's got all these things. So I'm watching this film, and then I'm thinking about this terrible People magazine list. And I think the ultimate way to celebrate 2022 is, I think if you want to do something a little more cutting edge this Halloween, why not throw a Japanese themed horror film party?
Okay.
And so what you do is you make it kind of like the drive-in. So you have 3 films. You start out early with one of the early Godzilla films.
Oh, okay. I can get with that.
Yeah. So, it's in the background. People are talking. They're getting into it. Nothing's graphic or scary. It sets a good vibe. You can even play some music in the background, but start with one of the black and white Godzilla films. Okay. And then as you kind of settle, people have snacked, and it starts to get about the movie. You either start with the original Japanese version, Ring, or the 2002 American remake, The Ring.
Okay.
Both of those are great. They're still, I think, I kind of consider them more PG-esque. I think maybe one's R, one's PG-13, but they're still, everyone knows the stories. You can still kind of get into it, have a good time, talk a little bit, drink your wine, whatever you're doing. And then when it's time to get freaky, get scared, see some gore, you cap it off with Obayashi's House If You Dare.
Well, that is a little more interesting than idea. Take note, People magazine. But as I listened to the idea, I think it's great. But now I understand that People was just trying to pander to anybody and everybody. I feel like that your idea is only for those who truly love and appreciate Halloween.
Yes, so this is absolutely 100% geared towards all you Halloweeners or Halloweenies out there. But I think it's a good thing to do. I think it's fun. Hannon, I know we have gone on and on and on. The main thing is we just want people to really enjoy the holiday.
Enjoy the season, yeah.
I love that Halloween. It's always been my favorite holiday, but I do really think that now it really is the kickoff to the holiday season.
It really is. Yeah, I agree.
Do things you haven't done in a long time. Dress up, even if it's just to hand out candy. Throw a cool party, or throw a party that's a little cheesy with kids' films or Disney films, but whatever. Do things with people. Actually make it an event. It's on a Monday this year, so you can have an amazing Halloween weekend. Do all these different things. You could, maybe hitch a hayride or something on one day. But but seriously though, you really can. You could do pumpkin patches with the family, things like that, corn mazes, do the family stuff during the weekend days. Of course, take the kids trick-or-treating.
I also feel like you should throw in there a little bit more, do some like short story reading. Stephen King has a lot of great short stories. Edgar Allan Poe. There's so many like really good creepy stories out there. So it doesn't have to necessarily be, watching something. Pick up some short stories.
Absolutely.
Or read the original Dracula or the original, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I mean, go out there and just indulge in everything of the season.
Yeah, and I do think that Hannah and I are probably a little more extreme in our Halloween practices that make it your own. Just like you said, go classic. Have an upscale Halloween, right? Edgar Allan Poe is good stuff. I mean, he was the first true goth. Listen to some good music. Listen to some Rob Zombie, or, go old school 80s and listen to The Damned and Bauhaus or whatever works for you. Have a good time. Put on a little eyeliner, whatever you want to do. If we've learned anything from the pandemic, there's nothing wrong with dressing up, acting like a kid or an adult that likes to have a good time. You don't have to hide behind childhood or nostalgia. Just celebrate this and make sure you have a spooktacular Halloween.
That was spooktacular.